It started with one photo, a single, grainy image that spread across social media like wildfire. Heughan and Dakota Johnson, smiling as they left a small restaurant in London's Soho district, walking close together under an umbrella on a rainy night. The moment looked innocent enough. Two friends or colleagues sharing a quiet evening. But in the world of Hollywood speculation, it was the spark that lit a wildfire. Within hours, the internet was ablaze. Are Heughan and Dakota Johnson dating? One headline screamed. Another read, wedding bells? Fans think Heughan might finally be off the market. Across Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, hashtags like #Sam and Dakota, #weddingbells, and #Samkota began trending. At first, fans thought it was a misunderstanding, maybe a friendly dinner between actors. But when a second photo surfaced the next day, showing Dakota wearing a delicate ring on her right hand and Sam helping her into a car, the internet lost its mind. Blogs speculated wildly, tabloids dissected every detail, and within 24 hours, the phrase, Heughan engaged, hit the top of Google's search trends. For fans of Outlander, the news felt almost surreal. For years, Sam had been romantically linked, at least in the public imagination, to his co-star Caitríona Balfe. Their undeniable chemistry on-screen, paired with their warmth off-screen, had fueled one of the most passionate fan communities in the world. To them, Sam and Caitríona weren't just co-stars, they were destiny. Now, that fantasy seemed to shatter. Dakota Johnson, one fan wrote in disbelief. What about Caitríona? What about everything we saw between them? Another commented, this can't be real. He's never even mentioned Dakota before. The speculation only grew when a celebrity gossip site claimed to have an insider source saying, Sam and Dakota have been close for months. They met through mutual friends at a film festival and hit it off instantly. Things got serious recently. They're practically inseparable. Fans started combing through old interviews, public appearances, and social media posts, looking for clues they might have missed. A clip from an awards ceremony resurfaced where Sam and Dakota had briefly spoken backstage, laughing together. This was the moment it started, one Twitter thread claimed, complete with screenshots and timestamps. By the next morning, the rumor had taken on a life of its own. Major outlets from People to Entertainment Tonight were running stories. Sources say the two share a deep connection, one article said. Another went further. Friends close to the couple wouldn't be surprised if wedding bells were in the future. Meanwhile, Sam stayed silent. No statements, no tweets, not even a casual post to diffuse the situation. Dakota, too, maintained her usual calm. Her representatives refused to comment, adding fuel to the frenzy. But it was the Outlander fandom that truly erupted. Entire online communities divided overnight. Half the fans were curious, even supportive, posting messages like, if she makes him happy, I'm happy. The other half were in denial, insisting the story was a fabrication. Sam would never keep something like this secret from Caitríona, one fan argued. They're soulmates. Then came the twist that no one expected. During a press junket for her latest film, Caitríona Balfe herself was asked about the rumors. The journalist, perhaps testing boundaries, smiled and asked lightly, what do you think of all the talk about Sam and Dakota? Wedding bells, maybe? There was a beat of silence. Caitríona smiled politely, adjusted her seat, and then said something that instantly made headlines. Sam deserves to be happy. He's one of the kindest, most genuine people I know. If he's found someone who makes him smile, then I'm happy for him. The room went silent. No laughter, no awkward giggles. Just that one, graceful response. But for fans, those words hit hard. Some praised her maturity and warmth. Others read between the lines, sensing something deeper. Maybe a tinge of sadness, maybe acceptance. That's not a jealous woman, one tweet read. That's someone who loved him enough to let him go. Within hours, her clip was everywhere. Headlines flashed. Caitríona Balfe breaks silence on Heughan's alleged romance. Caitríona's emotional response to Sam's engagement rumors. On social media, Hashtag Caitríona Speaks Out began trending alongside hashtag Sam and Dakota. Fans debated endlessly what she really meant. Was it approval? Was it heartbreak? Or was it, as one fan put it, the most dignified mic drop in history? By the end of the week, what began as a rumor had become one of the biggest celebrity talking points of the year. Yet through the chaos, one thing was clear. Sam Heughan, Dakota Johnson, and Caitríona Balfe had found themselves entangled in a narrative bigger than any script they'd ever performed, and the world was desperate to know what would happen next. Days turned into a week, and the headlines refused to fade. Every entertainment outlet dissected Caitríona Balfe's brief but powerful comment. "Sam deserves to be happy," she'd said, 7 words that launched 1,000 think pieces. Some claimed her tone was wistful, others insisted it was pure grace. But everyone agreed. It was the perfect, classy response. Meanwhile, the silence from Sam Heughan and Dakota Johnson only made things louder. The pair had not made any public appearances together since that night in London. Reporters camped outside hotels, scanning for even a glimpse of them. Paparazzi photos of Sam leaving a gym or Dakota shopping in Notting Hill were suddenly interpreted like coded messages. Was the ring still there? Was he wearing the same jacket from that dinner? Every tiny detail became fuel for the fire. Then, just as speculation hit its peak, Variety announced that Sam and Dakota had recently worked together, secretly, on an independent film set to release later in the year. The movie, described as a slow-burn romance about 2 people finding love later in life, had been shot in complete secrecy in Portugal earlier that year. Fans exploded. "This explains everything," one tweet said. "It was chemistry from the film." Another added, "They weren't dating. They were promoting a project without realizing it." But if that were the case, why hadn't either of them said so? Why the silence? The answer came a few days later when Sam finally broke it, not through a press release, but through a heartfelt video message posted on his Instagram. He looked calm, though a little tired. "I've been watching all of this unfold," he said with a gentle laugh. "And honestly, it's been surreal." He paused, then smiled faintly. "First of all, Dakota is incredible. Not just as an actress, but as a person. We did work together, yes, and she brought something really special to that project. But I promise you, there are no wedding bells. Not yet, anyway." He laughed softly, and the tension lifted a little. "I understand why people speculate," he continued. "I've been lucky to have amazing women in my life, colleagues, friends, people who inspire me. And Dakota is one of them. But please don't read too much into one photo. It was dinner between friends." Then he grew more serious. "I also want to say something about Caitríona. She's handled all of this with so much grace, as she always does. We've shared 10 years of our lives together, as friends, as creative partners, as family. She's one of the most important people in my life. And I'll always be grateful for her support." The clip went viral within minutes. Fans felt a mix of relief, admiration, and emotion. The wedding bells rumor had finally been debunked, but in the process, the world had seen a different side of Sam, vulnerable, honest, and deeply respectful of the women in his life. Shortly after, Dakota Johnson herself addressed the situation in an interview promoting her new film. She smiled when the journalist brought up the rumors. "Sam's wonderful," she said simply. "He's charming, funny, and a total professional. But sometimes people see 2 people with chemistry and assume it's something more. I get it. We all love a good love story. But in this case, it was just work." Her tone was light, but her words sincere. "He's got a beautiful soul," she added. "And anyone who knows him, including Caitríona, would tell you the same." That final line resonated deeply with fans. It wasn't rivalry. It wasn't jealousy. It was mutual respect. 3 people navigating fame, friendship, and public perception with dignity. Caitríona later shared Sam's video on her Twitter with a short caption that melted hearts. "No drama. Just love, respect, and endless laughter. That's how it's always been." The post racked up thousands of likes within minutes. Fans who had been arguing for days suddenly united, realizing the truth was far less scandalous, and far more beautiful than they'd imagined. One fan summed it up perfectly. It was never about wedding bells. It was about how gracefully they handled the noise. In the following weeks, the frenzy slowly died down. The tabloids moved on, yet something about the episode lingered, not the gossip, but the reminder of how rare it is to see such kindness in an industry built on competition. At a charity gala a month later, Sam, Caitríona, and Dakota all crossed paths. Cameras captured them laughing together, hugging warmly, a full-circle moment that silenced every last rumor. When asked about it on the red carpet, Caitríona smiled knowingly and said, "People love stories. And I can't blame them. We've been part of one for a long time. But the truth is simple. We're all good. We always have been." And just like that, the noise faded, leaving behind something far more lasting than gossip. Three people bound by friendship, respect, and a shared understanding that love, in all its forms, is worth protecting. As one fan wrote under a photo of the trio together, "The wedding bells might have been a rumor, but the love? That's always been real."